Okay, two big changes on the interactions on how Nest works and how Sion works in a mirror match against Traya. Now, this is very important because we're going into Grand Arena. And the way Grand Arena works is you can actually get more points by going in with a lower team. And I was going to make a complete rant video about how they did stealth nerf Nest and they didn't tell anybody. But then right when I was making this video, there was a post by Crumb saying, meant to post this yesterday explaining how the interactions with bonus protection were being fixed, but lost all of this in the meaningless around the big title update. Our apologies that we did not get to this beforehand and created confusion. We noticed several odd interactions with Nest, and after investigating, we found a bug that caused bonus protection to not be calculated properly. Bonus protection was incorrectly calculated based off the initial max health at the start of the battle, instead of being calculated through the battle as it intended. This caused an issue in fighting or against any character that can modify max health. That's only Revan, really. Revan, Jango Fett. Including applying the max health up buff. For example, battle with Revan, Infant's Nest could be reduced to almost 1 hit point, but still be able to generate massive amounts of protection due to the calculation not checking the new max health values instead of using her initial max health. And this is not intended. We're very, very sorry. Of course, Reddit has been in outrage all day, saying that this is a stealth nerf, no notifications, and people were depending on this strategy. Kira lead, Nest, and maybe Hermit Yoda. And you don't really need Hermit Yoda, but those three could wipe out a full Revan team. And that's the way it was. And people are saying, oh, you're just doing it for the money. I get it. There's a huge controversy. I'm just going to say what happened. But this strategy does not work anymore. The Maul strategy, the R2-D2 strategy with the slow Nest, high tenacity Nest does not work. It was completely changed. Nest is no longer an effective counter at all to Revan. Just that simple. And of course, a lot of people are very upset. A lot of people are upset. They're just getting Nest unlocked and they were going to use that to counter Revan. That's not going to work. And I did find a ticket log that basically this problem was identified a month ago. And, you know, they've had a month to do this. And this was submitted by someone that was complaining about the Kira lead Nest team defeating all of Revan. The log went in and the update. So it took a month for them to fix it. Now, my problem is a little bit different than the nerf of Nest. My problem is that this game has just gotten really complicated. I mean, look at the text right here for the leadership of Revan. Oh my goodness, it's just really long. And then some things are just not really clear. Like look at Bastila, or look at her leadership ability. Say, at the start of the battle, Jedi allies gain 15% turn meter and protection up. 200% can't be dispelled. Okay, 200% protection, right? Is that how it works? No, it's based off of max health. Why is it based off of max health? And how would I know that it is based off of max health? And why do certain characters do that? Bonus protection? I mean, what percentage of the player base knows that bonus protection is based off of health? Unless I go into SWGOH.gg and we're going to pull up Bastila, and this is going to be time consuming because I want to show you how complicated it is to actually know this. It is not intuitive at all. There's nothing in the text, but unless I went into SWGOH and typed in Bastila, right? And I click on the character, and then I go into the character and I look at her abilities, and I just happen to click on her leadership ability right here. And then I click View Initiative Mechanics. Boy, we're going into a rabbit hole here. Then I click on the level 8 ability, and we get this wall of text. And I don't know anybody that does this. I mean, why? I mean, this is so complicated. And it talks about add a shield of 200% max health. How is anybody supposed to know that Bastila's leadership ability is based off of max health without you basically understanding the code of the game and going to a third-party website and going down this rabbit hole of information? So everybody needs to know that basically Nest was nerfed into oblivion They knew that this was a problem a month ago based on the log. It just got changed right now, right before Grand Arena. And then Crumb just came out 10 minutes ago and said, sorry, I forgot to let you guys know. Probably out of all the things inside of the patch notes, I mean, there's like all kinds of fixes and things in the notes. None of that is important except for the joint territory wars. I went and looked at it. And the most important thing that could have been put is, oh yeah, Nest. You've been farming her for 9 months. You're finally getting to 7 stars. You may have had a chance to counter Revan. Nope, that's not going to work. We're not going to put it in the notes. We forgot. We overlooked. We oversight. It's just incompetence, in my opinion, to oversight that. Apology accepted. Fine. But boy, people worked hard to get Nest. Character's been out forever. And it just gets nerfed now. And the reason why I think that is the game has become way too complicated. It's insanely complicated. From even a player standpoint, let alone a developer. Imagine from the developer point of view, it's 100 times more complicated to make sure things that don't break and everything works correctly. I get it. But from a player point of view, just look at the Revan leadership ability. It's too complicated. It's becoming like Magic the Gathering. The game is getting overly complicated. I do these fan meetups. I did one in LA and then I did one here in Chicago. And people give me their phones. What do you think of my account? And there's a lot of people who are really into the game. Most people don't even understand mods. There's a certain part of the player base that don't even interact with mods and like mods or do anything with their mods. And so if that is true, how are they going to know that Nest's bonus protection and Traya's bonus protections and the Jedi bonus protection for Bastila lead is based off of max health and how to mod them correctly? Nobody gets it. It's too complicated. So it's just getting complicated. And that's fine for me because I this is what I do and I can understand it, but nobody else. I mean, a lot of people are not going to get that deep into the game. There's also an issue with Sion. Let me find it right here. Basically, there's a screenshot right here showing it's Nyla's turn, and he does not have pain, and Sion is still taunting. So, what happened is in the patch, which I guess there's no notes on this either. Just the player base figured this out, didn't make the notes. But if you're gonna do a mirror match, Traya versus Traya with Sion, it works differently now. When at the beginning of the turn, Traya self-cleanses the Sith. So Nihilus went, for some reason, he self-cleansed. He got rid of the pain effect. But Sion in the past would not taunt, but now he is taunting. Because it has to do with the turn order of operations. So in short, if your character is about to take a turn and has pain, and it's a Sith, and then the character goes, like Nihilus did right here, Traya will self-cleanse the pain, but Sion will still be taunting. And so whether that is a buff or a nerf, a lot of people actually think that's a buff, actually, because it makes the intermittent taunt more annoying with Sion. But it'll actually look like a bug like it does right here. Well, there's no pain on Nihilus. Well, that's because it was self-cleansed by Traya. It did not work that way. And now it does work that way. So if you're going to be doing mirror matches in the arena, you're going to be having to focus down on Sion a lot more than originally thought. So just a big deal, really, because Grand Arena is coming up, and I know this is going to be Season 0. It's kind of a practice run. There's going to be some bugs. I get that. But this is probably just really alarming that we had these two stealth nerf fixes, buffs, nerfs, whatever you want to call it, and no really heads up. And these drastically affect the gameplay and the mechanics, especially going into Grand Arena. As far as my opinion on Nest, I think it's really frustrating for people that were farming her and they were free to play and were looking for a counter to Revan. But I don't think that a two-man team of Kira and Nest and maybe Hermit Yoda should be able to defeat a five-man Revan. I think they should have just fixed it instantly. I don't think we should have had to play with that for a month. I think it should have happened when the character came out. I don't think it should be found out at the 12th hour and overlooked on a blog post when it's something that important. That's upsetting. It's upsetting to the community. But on the flip side, if it's not working as intended, as someone that has Revan, I don't want to be beat by a 3-star Kira and a 5-star Hermit Yoda, an undergeared Nest that has 0 speed that can only beat my Revan team and no other teams. I don't think that's the way the game is supposed to work. Just my opinion. All right, I'm sure everybody else has got a lot of opinion, but now you know that Nest has been changed and Sion has changed, so now you can be more prepared with that information. And as always, thanks for watching and keep on gaming.